After 2 years, the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women held its final hearings in St. John's, Newfoundland last week. At a cost of more than $53 million, the historic hearing heard from families, communities, and experts of missing and murdered Indigenous women. The inquiry has until April of next year to complete its final report, although the Chief Commissioner says she has seen much progress from the federal government since the inquiry's interim report was published last year. We bring in Danielle Smith to chat about this. You're going to be having a conversation concerning this, Danielle, on your show today.
Yes, I'm going to be talking to somebody who has a really interesting personal story. Naomi Sayer is an Aboriginal activist who is also going through law school, but she also was a sex trade worker. And so when she's looking at the inquiry, I'm going to be interested in hearing whether or not she feels like it's getting to the heart of the matter, because a lot of the complaints about the inquiry has been that it's been missing the point. I mean, there's been these delays. There were some high-profile people who left. There were families feeling that they weren't being respected. I'm wondering now at the end of this whether or not they're going to get to the bottom of it, because I think her contention is that you can't divorce the issue of what happens in the case of missing and murdered women with some of the risky professions that got them there in the first place. There's a lot of people in the sex trade who ended up going missing, getting murdered, and so she'll have a whole series of suggestions around how you deal with that. So I'm going to ask her a bit, first of all, about how she felt the inquiry went, and then secondly, about what some of her recommendations might be.
Obviously, it seems like people feel not all of the expectations were met through the whole process of one thing, you're looking for an outcome, but also it is meant to be a process, and whether that process was actually respected is part of the concern.
I think you're very right, and it's funny how process can end up derailing things. It's also, I think, unfortunate that it didn't get as much widespread coverage. I think there's been a lot of issues that have crowded out this inquiry. And so I think part of the whole process was to make Canadians aware of what was happening to these women and girls. And I don't know if it succeeded in that. Maybe once we get to the end report and some of the stories are revealed, as well as some of the recommendations that go along with it, maybe we can't really judge this process until it's finally complete. But I think that some of the interim reporting along the way has suggested a lot of dissatisfaction.
Well, your guest sounds absolutely amazing as someone to listen to today. So 9:30 to 12:30, Danielle is on 770 CHQR. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.